Everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. Welcome to the new Quant Analytics dashboard. Some big changes have been made to it with the software itself. So when you come in, this is where you get access to the analytics dashboard. Here's the dashboard itself, and I'm going to walk you through all the different parts. So obviously, when you come in, you're going to see this video here, the tutorial video we have here that is fairly new. The ability to edit your profile and the ability to log out. Also here, I've talked about this numerous times. This right here is the new secure private chat that I've set up in the last few weeks that is now working. Pretty stable. The only thing is it is web or will work on a phone, but it will only work on an Android device. So if you are iOS or Apple, you can get an Android device. A good one I've seen currently is a Samsung Elite tablet for around $70. They're highly rated as well. The battery life is amazing as well. So if you want to get real dedicated to this stuff. Next up is the analytics stuff. So I have subdivided it into features and asset classes. So right now we are primarily focused more on the crypto, but I'm going to walk you through the features first. From time to time I'll do my analysis from Bloomberg. Some of it will fall under here, under the econometrics, and that's just basically anything macroeconomic events at all. You can see here we got various stories that can be very helpful for a quick synopsis. Then we have, just so you know, we have two separate Instagram accounts now. This is fairly brand new. We have one for just the social memes, we'll call it, and some of the motivational stuff. That again is available for all people and our results and whatever else. Alright, so there is that, and then as I said here we have the Instagram charts, which used to be in that particular Instagram account, but now I've broken it out to a new one here at Quant Labs 2. So that is a new set of charts that we have at this new Instagram, where all that macro and economic stuff comes from. And then coming back up here, we have two Facebook groups. We have the programming one. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to these guys in programming, algo trading. There's about 11,000 people in that group. Then we have here the page, the Quant Labs page. In there you'll find unique videos that I post that you won't get anywhere else. Sometimes they make it into YouTube, sometimes they don't, and vice versa again with the YouTube as well, that has all the different playlists and whatnot, so hopefully you're familiar with that. On the side here we have all the different archives all the way back, as you can see here, to 2012. Most of the time you probably won't have access to them because you need to be an elite member to get access to those. So those are fairly unique. But majority of the ones that you seek will give you access through this dashboard. So now let's go into our asset classes. So the first one is stock and equity. This one is again from the Bloomberg analysis, and I'll just show you the structure, how these things work. So this one was posted, I'm going to go here. So this one was posted maybe a week ago. Oh, sorry, yeah. So January 4th, today's the 9th. So this one typically will have anywhere from usually around 3 articles, and I'll just do a blurb on it in the video. These are unlisted videos on YouTube, but by the time this comes out, a day, 2 days later, it might be useless anyways, but they're good to keep up to date with. So here we have the Forex. Now Forex is an interesting asset class that I use, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But again, typically this is from the Bloomberg analysis, where they may have some other particular currencies that get listed here. And same thing with the futures. Not many futures get listed, but there's the odd one. So these sort of articles can be quite old. Looks like this one's about 2 months old, so be aware of that. Let's see how old this one is. Yeah, I can just tell. Yeah, so this is about a month old. Now, the other one is the video playback for specific webinars that I don't make available to the public. So, let me think here. We've got different ones. So you can see here, introducing CFD analysis. We have details and options trade making it. So that's really old. Okay, so then we have now, this is where it gets interesting. We have, this is the core of it. I'll save that. We have cryptocurrency analysis. This is now manually generated. Again, this comes from the Bloomberg analysis, okay? So that's still, so that's December 23rd. Then we get into the areas of Forex and CFD. CFD can be sort of useful. I wouldn't trade it through as a data source. This one is very similar to the crypto, the systematic generated one. We have some charts in here, but I'll go through that because they're going to be similar. And then we have the same for Forex as well. I'm not putting a lot of emphasis on these because they're just, for analysis is fine, but I'm at to the point where I'm like really questioning these, so at some point they may get removed for both CFD analysis because I'm making more money with the crypto. So here's the crypto systematic. This is what we're referring to here. Okay, so this is the crust of the whole thing. So in here we have charts, and we also have alerts, stop loss, take profit, ranking, and most profitable. Generally, these are the most profitable by volume. So we have here, we have 10 entries available. And these are the ones that can be found on Whipsaw, the Whipsaw list. And we have here this ranking, stop loss, take profit. This is an interesting one because this will tell you if you were to trade DNT at a certain time, you could use these fib levels as well for entry and exit if you know how to use it. This is the upstop, low stops. These are another way of saying stop loss would be at this target, and the low, sorry, this would be the equivalent of a take profit, and this would be the low stop or the stop loss targets. So these ones, the soft ones, are really just for more conservative measure if you wanted to put on half a position. So, but the real goody stuff is in here, okay? So when you download it, you will get a file, or a zip file, that will contain all of the reports that I've gone through in detail. And I'll make a separate video for that, or maybe combine them for a better, deeper analysis on how to use these files. Because there's a lot of good stuff in here. Oh, sorry. Directory. Let me just pause that. I'll go through it. So, what's happened is, if you come under our reports, you can easily get them by emailing them to yourself. So essentially what you do is just put your name email, click the download, it will send it to that email. You will get a download link, and then it will automatically download the files for you. And wherever you set up your downloads for. So this is the latest batch that gets downloaded. It's quite a bit. So I'll go through these as well. These are similar. The ones for Forex and CFD will be very similar. So you can see it's a fairly big file size. We have some Word documents, these ones, which I'll show you in a bit what they are. But a couple of highlights here is the one of the big ones that will be very useful for people is a file called Whipsaw. That's called the Whipsaw file. And essentially what this is it will track all the latest whipsaws of the crypto pairs that have been watched and that yet have been logged as very quick moving downward, or known as whipsaws, and it logs them. So the last 3 to 6 hours, anything that is logged as a whipsaw will be removed from the watch list, but these are useful for when another pair, the same pair, comes up. So if a span of 3 to 6 hours, if it is on a whipsaw loss, don't trade it, because chances are, if you take on a position, it will move against you for obviously no profit. So that's why we do that, to watch for those. So that's number one. Number two are two PNG or chart files. We have the crypto volume pie chart, so I can show you that. Now this data comes from Binance, as you know. Verified this numerous times. Our biggest volume right now is this DNT Ethereum. Number 2 in volume is ADA Cardano. So that's one. The other one you want to be on the look out for is the hourly crypto bar hourly profit. So this one can be very misleading. So in here, these are the crypto pairs that are moving the most in the last hour on Binance. So these are the percent moves, 24, 22, 22% up. As I said earlier, a good chunk of these will have whipsaws in them, so we don't trade them because they will go against you. They look good, but there will be a few that can be traded. And again, you can look for those in the most potential spreadsheet. So these are the ones that look good at this time when this batch was generated. So again, here are the ones that did not make it on the whipsaw list. So you can clearly see here by volume, if you were to trade them, these two that I've shown you before, ADA and DNT, are probably the most likely ones you'll do well with at this time, because they're not on a whipsaw list. Pretty straightforward stuff, but doesn't guarantee a whole lot. Going back to the batch. So now we have other things like crypto ranking. So this pair, number of pairs are thrown into a spreadsheet. Let's make sure it's the right format. Oh, it's a crypto. Let's see here. Crypto rank. This one. We have two versions. We have a CSV, comma separated value, or the spreadsheet, which is one. This is the one I was wanting to show. Okay, so first of all, you can see that there's well over, golly gee, 300 pairs. How many in total? Wow, 400 pairs. They keep adding them on. So 419 pairs minus the header, column header here, this guy right here. So there's a number of things we can do with this particular spreadsheet. Let me just show you what's available. So we have the time frame, which is daily view, is the current price in the Fibonacci value historically in the last, I think it's a year. Is there a buy signal or a sell signal? It'll be a 180. Also, we have the head and shoulder difference. This really doesn't do a whole lot. Trend difference, which is really the same as saying momentum. Volume is a very big factor. As you can see here, Bitcoin USDT is quite high. Also, we have momentum, which is another big factor that I use in my other strategy. Standard deviation, which can be used for measuring pretty well the volatility. Do we have any harmonic patterns getting generated? Any bearish patterns? We also can measure the slope if it's negative or positive, no different than momentum. R value, P value for statistical. Standard error as well. Closing price is the most recent closing price when it gets captured. And then we also have other sets of trend data as well as momentum. I don't really use it a lot. There's a couple things we can do with this spreadsheet. So first we can always, for instance, sort by volume. So here we're going to sort by J or I. Yeah, J. No, I'm using Office Libre. I'm not using Excel. So let's go descending. So you can see here which ones are have the most volume based upon daily time frame. So it's obviously Bitcoin, US, Tether, BNB, Ethereum, BNB, BTC, and so on. So if I go back and sort again if I wanted, I'm just going to show you some examples here. You could sort by, let's say, slope, which has the strongest slope. So if I sort again, and that is column N, we want column N descending. So this will tell you which ones have the strongest slope. So that's again historical. So right now we're looking at Bitcoin SV USD. But again, you want to always refer back to the volume, do a comparative against other pairs. You can clearly see that these newer pairs, BNB USD, Tether, again, you can see here that the volume is pretty good for this particular one of BNB USD. And again, at the same time, you can see if there's any bullish patterns or not. So this is a very useful file. What else could you sort by? Let me see here. So you can measure on volatility by using the standard deviation right here. Yep. Oh no. Right here. I'm sorry. Column K. This one. So that will tell you the volatility. All right, so that's pretty well that spreadsheet, which is can be very useful, but only on a daily basis. So again, we have the CSV version. We showed you the Whipsaw crypto. We showed you the PNG here, bar hourly profit. Now these two are interesting. The first one is the most profitable, but again, that's also including the ones that are on the Whipsaw list. So again, we sort by hourly change and 3-hour change. So depending upon your time frame, you can clearly see which ones are at this point doing fairly well. ADA, and I also, for convenience sake as well, put the good old volume in there as well. So we know that these two look pretty good to trade. Actually, these three I'd probably be very interested based upon their volume. But again, this is Litecoin Ethereum. You can see the volume is very low, but useful stuff here. Okay, next up. Now this is the most potential. Now that's removing the ones that are on the whipsaw list. So this will be much, much smaller. These are the ones, again, that were not put on that watch list. So again, we have the most, or the least volatile that have not seen any watch list. And then we have the ADA, DNT, we're okay to trade because they're not on the watch list. All right, so that's that. I'm showing you the real easy stuff right now. Okay, so if you are a fan of stats, we can track that for you as well. So this is comma separated. Hopefully this will be picked up. Let's say US English. This may not work. But the other way is just to edit it. So if I load this up with a simple editor, or in my case, I don't know, text edit. Yeah, so here you are with the statistical references, and here we have all the columns. Mean on, I believe that's a month, a day, number of positive returns, which is more useful. On the hourly and monthly, we also do that by the day and by the hour. Standard deviation for 1 month, 1 day, and 1 hour. Should be able to plug that into a spreadsheet, no problem. Let's see what else is there we can show you. Okay, so we have the 3, 4 big reports. Okay, before I get into that, I forgot to mention I have this report called the risk. What this does, it measures, wow, I'll just break all these. This system's getting killed. Okay, so here, I'll just reload this again. I'll get rid of these 2 programs. Okay, I'll release a lot of memory. It's a 4 gig system, so it's pretty small. So I'm going to reload the risk here. So again, this is using Coinbase, the first original 5 coins to measure what I call risk. This is why I'm moving everything onto a better desktop in Linux. This system's clearly not cooperating as I'd like it to be. So this is the risk files, or risk cryptocurrencies against US dollar. This data comes from Coinbase, and these are the original 5 coins, which I've shown before. You have Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum Classic, and Ethereum. So I'm sure that you could add XRP on there and some other ones. But for now, it just gives you a good snapshot of how the overall cryptocurrency asset class is doing at this time. So the performance on the hourly basis, these are the number of cryptos of these 5 that are moving more than 1%, medium between 0.5% and 1%, so there's only 1. what I call anemic, which is really moving between 0 and 0.5%. So there's only 2, and then there's 2 other ones that are negative. When you get to this majority, let's say all of them, you're basically 5 are being over 5% moves. You are in a very, very good situation to profit like crazy. I haven't seen that in a very long time, for 4 or 5 months, because now it's January 2019. I haven't seen those days in a long time, but the system's still doing very well. But if it ever went to this mode where all 5 were aggressive, golly gee, I don't know how much returns would be. It'd be pretty crazy. So that's the file called Crypto Whisk. Now we get into the really big, hairy stuff. Alerts, I'm not sure if this is working yet, and maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I'll gladly check it out. Yes, so here we go. So this is an interesting system where you can clearly see where Head and Shoulders candle patterns are being detected while the system's running. These reports get updated every hour, I believe. So when we get these automated Head and Shoulders, we track them. If we have candlesticks, we can track them, or sorry, candle patterns. In this case, we have a bullish, bearish, for whatever, and the particular candle pattern. Now, let me just mention this about the candle patterns. If you go to the patternsite.com, let me just pull up another anonymous browser here. Pull up Epic. Go to a website called the patternsite.com. This is for candle patterns. Candle patterns are really good. Now, my system, I've spent a long time analyzing these. I have it on my blog as well, at quantlabs.net. But yeah, I just noticed it was a proxy running, so it'd be a little slower than it needs to be. So bringing up Google. Okay, so if I load up something called the pattern site for candlesticks, you will find these patterns in here. So going back to here, this is a CSV, remember, you will be able to figure out how reliable this particular candle is. Over time, you'll get to see them in action. So if I go back to Google, let's say, and just as a tip, to understand these different candle patterns, and they work really, really well. I look for maybe 2, 3 candle patterns that are bullish. Just remember that when you're working with Binance, where the data comes from, you're only long, so you're only interested in longing. So if you do a search on Google here, and just go the pattern site, okay, and you know the name of the pattern, you can kind of get a rough idea of what the pattern is. So this is, let's say, 3 outside up. Yeah, let's see, what was that? 3 outside. So if it's bearish, that must mean it's down, just as an example. So we actually want this one. So if you were to do your own research on this, there's about 15 patterns that I use, candle patterns. This will give you a really good description of what these candles do. And you just look for this, and some of these can be continuous patterns. Some of them can be reversal patterns in the candles themselves. So let's do another example. Make it life easy for everybody. So we have the 3 star in south. so that one was bullish. So here with these candle patterns for, this is BC, oh, these are different crypto pairs. So in this case, if they're bullish, then yeah, you would be somewhat interested. So I'll just do one more. So if you do the pattern site and then 3 stars in the south, okay, and then look at that, and then again you get the complete description: what's reliable, what's not, is it continuous, is it a reversal candle pattern, and it's universal on the different time periods, so it doesn't really matter. The strategy I'm running right now is on minute, and some of these work really good, and combined with other entries, we are able to get the crazy win ratios that we've been reporting for the last month of 75, 85, 90%. This is one of the big reasons why this is working, because of these candle patterns. Okay, and then you also have the head and shoulder detected as well, but that can get pretty noisy pretty fast. So that's the crypto alert CSV file. All right, so now that's probably a lot that I've shown, but it does get way easier. So we have, if you wanted shorting opportunities, where's my crypto? We have a file here called crypto short. Now notice the size of these things. These are big. These are big files, big Word documents. So let's get rid of this one too. So they can take quite a while to load up. Be fully aware of that. I'm going to see if we can get rid of some more programs. Get rid of Chrome. Don't need this. That's really those. Those are all the other ones that we need. Let me just put this on pause. Well, hello there. We finally got these are now the shorting opportunities. I'm going to show you how to use these reports, a really good way of doing it. So these are all the different short opportunities that are coming up. This is the time the report was generated. And this is usually generated every hour or so. So one thing you want to do is note the group mean. Again, fancy schmancy way of saying volume. And then we also have the volatility. So you can use this for comparison reasons against individual pairs. So the first one to short, according to this, is the Bitcoin Cash Ethereum. So here, the volume is just not good, so I would kind of ignore it. But the standard deviation is lower than the group volatility, so it is less volatile to short. But again, it's in a downward trend, so it is a shorting opportunity. The Fibonacci, this is, again, I'm just using right now for historical purposes. We can use them for classic entry. You can see here a lot more negative returns. And here's where things get very cool. Bullish, bearish, harmonics that I use a lot. So here it is bullish, and this can be somewhat accurate, but it's only accurate, like more accurate, when it's combined with other patterns, specifically obviously the E candle. Sometimes you will get harmonics. So in this case it's a bullish. Here it's a bearish. Okay. So you would want to combine it with other patterns. So here we know that the head and shoulders one is below the trend, so that's pretty bearish if you ask me. And there's no candlestick patterns here as well. But combined with the candles, the harmonics, you can somewhat get a good idea of the direction it will go. And it's usually you catch it early enough where your entries can be really good. So moving down further, this is the ones that get pretty interesting with all of them combined. These are the up and down trends with the Fibonacci's combined. We can set our entries for using the Fibonacci levels and the stop losses as well, but don't really need to go crazy on that because that's why I don't emphasize it. So these are the different charts of over 6 months, and each of these have the RSI and momentum. The reason I keep the 180 trading days, and remember that crypto is 24/7, so it's including Saturday, Sunday. But as I was saying, the reason I keep it 6 months is for historical reasons. So you can see historically how it's been doing instead of just getting, in this case, a 90-day or a 30-day view. But these are very, very useful combined with the volume, the RSI, as well as the momentum. So you can see the momentum's down. So chances are it's still bottoming out. But once you get to know the candle patterns, you know which ones really work, which ones don't. And then there are different combinations. So that's just one sample of these reports. And then here's HRBTC, HSR, I guess, whatever it is. And it's the same chart, same interpretation. These are just for confirmation purposes. The one that can be somewhat useful, depending upon your goal, one report, this is the general long. So how big is that? So that's a bigger file, so this may take a while to load up. Yeah. So it's the same format, but now we're looking at it from a longing point of view. Also in here, we filter on volume as well as trend right here. So be very, very, very aware of that. Okay, so I'm just going to go through this one as an example, and we'll leave it at that. There is another file that I will be adding called SLTP crypto, I believe. And those are the stop loss to take profit levels, which seem to be pretty popular among folks to get a better idea on their entries if they are going to use stop losses to take profit. And you can also use them for the exits as well, or you could also use the Fibonacci's as well. So I might include that, see which ones are reliable. So here we are in the longing, and these are the opportunities. I've gone through this before in another video prior to this, but again, you can capture the group volatility and the group volume mean. You can always compare it. You also get a reference if the Fibonacci is what I call considered, or what they call is in the golden range. So if it's a value, once it enters into the Fibonacci golden range, that's a good opportunity. But we want to make sure that it's going to go up in our price. You can historically see when we get one of these buy signals what we can sort of expect. It's just lately it's been going flat, but it's been an overall negative trend. Here's the Fibonacci historical. So it's not quite within our golden range, which is between these two lines, the green and the purple, I guess you could say. And again, we use the returns to compare, is it more negative or is it more positive? So in this case, it's tough to say. Could be more positive, more negative, and you can always look at the stats CSV file to gauge that. Again, this is a strong sign. We have a strong harmonic, Gertley. This is over 1,000 hourly data, 1,000 data points, but it is on that neckline. So this is a potential bottoming out process. It could break out. Here we have a bullish candle. You can always make reference to, as I showed earlier, what this particular candle pattern means. And then we get back into the Fibonacci and trend combined to see where things go. Again, you can use these numbers, and I might break them out to use for potential entry using once it goes into the golden zone, as well as the exit as well, because we'd be able to automatically set those targets and kind of in a way have a trailing stop if you want it. So again, we have the 180, 90-day, and 30-day view of the markets, and then we continue on to our next crypto pair. So when you look at these, you can see here we have the reports based on longing volume, so it's filtering out the lower volume pairs, and that's sorting by that, as well as another separate one based on trend. So we have 4 different reports, one purely short only, one for just long, and we have 2 more with long for both based on volume and based on trend. That's pretty well everything in this membership. Pretty exhaustive, but we are going to be adding more with the winning strategy, because there's 2 strategies. This strategy is good for analytics. It can still do well. And with the other one, that's the big winner that I've shown. We're going to combine both strategies for now as one equity curve, see how they perform, and if one doesn't perform compared to the other, we'll the current one I'm just showing you be just for analytics only, be able to confirm the winning potential position, the calls with the pure winner. That's been doing really well over the last close to a month. So that's pretty well it. Hopefully this will help you out. We shall talk to you later. Hey, as I've been talking about, we have the CSV file, comma separated value field here that is generated, and what it does is the stop loss take profit of crypto pairs. So if we load it up, hopefully I'm not sure where it'll get loaded into, but let's try. Okay, it's going to try to load it up into the other software here. Okay, here we go. So these are the hot pairs that you can look at. This is how to determine them. Is we have the pair, the latest closing price, the level. So these are the Fibonacci levels I spoke of. So typically you would put your entry into level 3 usually, and if it does ever make it into that level, is the closing price, you would set these stop losses is what upstop, which is the take profit. So you could set your take profit at this level if the price subsequent future prices hit that level, or if the stop loss, the price falls below the stop loss. Now, if you are doing more conservatively, e.g. half a position, you set this stop loss on the soft, and then you also can do, that's a take profit, sorry, and then the stop loss on the soft. So basically, these are scenarios where you're not sure on the position if you want to go all in. So you could put a measurement of half a position. So let's say instead of putting in 100 units or 100 shares, you put in 50, And if the price continues to go up past the stop, the soft stop, or up soft take profit, you can add to that position because the price is now moving through this level, and then you can add more if you want as an equivalent of a trailing stop. Here, if you're doing the same thing and you put on half a position, and the price falls below what you would consider the soft stop loss, you could then ask yourself, do you want to cut the trade, minimize your loss, or just leave it as is? It's up to you, but that's what this file is for. So I'll help you out later.